Right? And I'm not playing no games. Yeah.
My friends. Greetings and salutations, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I'm usually late, so I thought I would try to be a little early this time. Let's talk comics. I am Pops, and let's do this. Let's do a comic book night and have a good time. Turn the sound off my phone would be helpful, right? That would be good. Yeah, let's try that. No, it's been great. It's been fun ride here in the last few weeks. In particular, it's kind of been crazy for me. I've done a lot of movie reviews, a lot of feedback on that. Done some cool shows and cool streams, and got to interact with a lot of great folks. And I realized that I'm really behind on reviewing and giving updates on some different comic books and things that I have going on. So that is indeed what I'm going to do tonight. So we are going to talk about Chuck Dixon and Phenom Comics over there with Mel Ruby. They did Hunter Ninja Bear. That's where we'll start. We'll work our way along to Wraith of God by Aaron Lopresti, which is truly a beautiful book. And then I've teased a couple times. We're going to open this tonight. So I was in an Ollie's with my lovely wife, and this little 5-pack $5 thing was there with literally an Xmen 1 and an Xmen 2, which, to be honest, inside the bag look like they're in amazing condition. So I thought this was one of those repackaged deals and they would just be trash, but I saw that cover from afar and was like, well, there was no others, but that was the only one. We will open that up as well, and I got a few other things that we might try to get to later on tonight. See, there's the 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you're around over on Stone Loki's channel, he'll be doing Comic Book Roundtable, and I should be joining him as far as I know. Everything else aligns with the world, and creeks don't rise, and we get another few moments. So it sounds like it's comic books, and more comic books, picture books all around. So we're going to do that. So, but if you're in chat, first off, let me say hail to the mod, the Pops mod, the God mod himself, the goat of all, Chris Persia, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out. And he says, yes, it's time for a poison version of Talk Geeky to Me. Okay, fair enough. We got to work on that then, Chris. We'll have to figure out somebody who can put something together. The irony is, Chris, I've actually reached out to Dan Vask. I'd love to have Dan Vask on the show. Have a chance to talk to him. Oh, look, he's there. Hey, man. Thanks for covering Indian cinema. Absolutely. Working on Vikram right now, the sequel to Kaitha. I enjoyed that so much, and I'm on Vikram. I actually had started it, and then when I went back, the version I was watching wasn't available, and the other version didn't have subtitles, so I had to go over. So I'm actually in it now, and we'll probably get through a little bit more. We'll get a little bit more before I say too much more about Vikram. So, but no, Chris, we can't get ahead of ourselves. I know I'd be so excited to have Dan. I've reached out. There's no response yet or whatever. Wouldn't it be cool if we could get some of the music? Like, instead of having to play like the knockoff AC/DC, we get his version of an AC/DC song, or for Pop's Talk, I use some different songs. He has tons of 80s covers to choose from. Man, that would be so flipping cool. Have Dan Vask music. I don't know what it would cost me. Don't know how it'll go. So, all right, well, let's get to it. Other folks will probably come in. I will bounce back and chat like I try to do, and we will start with Hunter Ninja Bear. Hunter Ninja Bear, which, by the way, you can get over at Phenom Comics. Here's your picture there. This was available. I pulled up the Kickstarter so you guys can see. This is what started it off. Now, you can go over to their website, and I will put that link out there for you guys, to Phenom Comics, and you guys can get a no, I do not have that link. Anyway, Phenom Comics, FENOM Comics. You can get your copy for $30. So there's your Ninja. This is what the original promotion looked like. Phenom Comics talks about some brothers that put the company together, and they actually are literally in the middle of having, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 6 different books like this, and they all look like they're the same kind of thing. So this is not some little tiny book. This is a big deal. This is a lot. I'm going to get to that. So what they've done is they set it up as though there are 12 individual issues, even though it's only being produced as the one big graphic novel. So here you can see some of the individual covers. They're like chapters in the book. So chapter 1 through 12. These are the covers that are there if they were individual printed. And there was some talk of that. I think I heard an interview with Chuck one time, and he mentioned that they would be individual floppies maybe at some point or whatever. Mel Ruby did the art, and I am not familiar with Mel's work, but I was super blown away. I thought he did an amazing job in this book. So anyway, Hunter Ninja Bear. So Hunter Ninja Bear is just that, literally a story about, well, actually we start with the ninja first. So the rules are simple, right? Hunter beats bear, ninja beats hunter, bear beats ninja. Well, okay, so we start with the first part with the ninja. And the first chapters is about the ninja. So it's ninja clan that is assimilating into our world. And basically there's come some bickering about being a farmer and moving on. And you can see there's our main character. Super cool. And then we move into where we basically wander into like bear territory, which is sort of unheard of. And then, of course, the bear is not solitude. The bears attack. And that's how we start off. One, I'm not going to ruin everything for you guys. It gets very, very dark as the bears attack, and literally they don't hold back. The bears attack children, right? And Ruby does a great job. He does a really great job of creating this sort of battle that's going to take place between them and the bears. And let's say, the humans fight back. So there's no holding back what's going to happen. That creates conflict. And basically it's like a back and forth. And then we ultimately get introduced to sort of like this crazy, giant, mystical bear, firebrand. See the mark on the head is the key element to that. A beautiful artwork. The inking is great. I love so much of this. And let me go back to that first page, because this was one of the first things that hooked me. Was I thought of, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought of like old school, like Neil Adams stuff when I saw this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know what his inspirations were, but I was like, I don't know. This was all top-notch stuff. So anyway, the story moves along pretty rapidly, and you have bear versus ninja, basically. Bear versus ninja, a pack of bear attacking the village, wiping out humans. You can see pieces of the art. I'm trying not to showcase everything. It moves very, very rapidly. And then, of course, you get these incredible battle shots like this. This is not some cheesy, chimpy paper. This is not some cheapy, chintzy art or storytelling. So it progresses like that, and the village is pretty much wiped out. And he goes on a journey then to figure out how to get a hunter to help him, because the main bear, the firebrand bear, is still out there. And think of like the Old West mythology of, people that were even in other parts of the world would think, Wild Bill Hickok or something like that. So it's like this mythology of these hunters that can hunt bear. And they go and they find this guy, and he's here's how our hunter's introduced. It doesn't go well at first, but he does manage to survive the bear attack, and it is truly great stuff. I have to be honest. I thought of it almost like as a mini series. I love Wilkers, by the way. Wouldn't Wilkers be like Kurt Russell would be a great Wilkers or something like that? I don't know if that would be the right age group now, because Kurt is probably a little up there in years, but old school Kurt Russell, maybe. Maybe Chris Pratt, maybe something like that if we had to go young. So you get into sort of like the recruitment and the mythology of Wilkers and stuff that's happened in America as the ninja and his sort of like apprentice, because he basically buries everyone. And of course, meanwhile, there's another survivor of her village, and he takes her under his wing, and she becomes the pupil. And they basically are going to take this journey together. Here's a shot of them together. You know what I think about? I was thinking about today when I was thinking about how much I like this, is I was a big fan of like Mike Grell, Green Arrow. And it was always very rooted in like real life. And he just lived in the forest and he dealt with like street crime and things like that. It wasn't real, costume superhero type stuff. It was a nice sort of side route in comic book stuff. Like it was different. And this reminded me of that. Like it's obviously it's still a comic book, but it's grounded in like real people and a real adventure story. Like I said, could easily be adapted into something. And what I really think is great about what Chuck does well in this that comic books don't do enough of anymore, and that is everything has purpose and action. So, for instance, instead of just sitting around a coffee shop where they talk about food for 2 or 3 pages, which I could not believe they do, but they actually do, they're walking and talking. They're in the forest, and there's conversations. They'll talk about their backstories. They'll talk about different things that have happened, and it is really, really good to see. Because I've been open about how much I love Chuck Dixon's work. It's meant so much to me in my comic book fandom, and to see something like this come to life it was really, really good. And then again, it treats everything like it's an issue, like a graphic novel that's collected multiple issues would, even though this is what you get. So for the $30, this is kind of what you get. And I think there's shipping on that too, but it was a reasonable price. They go on their boat, and again, nothing is wasted. So all of the interactions that you see are communicating more of the story, more characters that exist in this world. It's not small, it's big, with a lot of personalities, capturing a lot of the history, catching a lot of the adventure, things like that. So basically, then you get to the point where you end up with they got to meet up with Wilkers. They got to recruit him, right? You can see them practicing. Look at that. We don't do that now, right? Oh no, she would just be amazing. Nope. He puts her in her place and says, pain is the best teacher. Ooh, yes, so good. And there's little elements like the first time they see fireworks and how they respond to that, how they deal with the city and people like that. And he comes from an entire village, so he has all of this wealth that he has with him to hire Wilkers and the others. Of course, they get attacked, and he's amazing with his samurai sword. Wilkers has never seen anything like that. And then you basically get them agreeing to go on this journey together, even training a little bit together before they head out onto this crazy journey. And nothing is, we go from like celebratory the night before in a bar, hot chicks, that kind of stuff, right? May not come back from this too. We're going to start our journey in the rain. So I don't know how much leeway Mel Tubey got, but it's such a great back and forth of all of these different things. It is also great to see, like, they have a guy on the boat who's seasick when they're basically going back to Japan to take on these bears. And there's all sorts of confrontation along the way. And there's like the backstory of everything. So there's just a lot of meat and a lot of story here. It is not simplistic. And there's also a lot of conflict between the two ladies, right? His little Indian friend and Hannah the apprentice and things like that. And then we sort of get there. And we have our first, the bear are actually in ice. They're hibernating or whatever, and they get easily taken. Well, that's not Firebrand, right? So you get your first, and look at the action. It's like old 90s storytelling. This is one of the Indians that's helping. Look at him jumping into action. They don't have to be superheroes to have that sort of element of superhero adventure telling. We don't have to have them in an armored suit, right? They can just be these adventures, with a guy that was a ninja who doesn't want to, try not to be a ninja, and a guy who's a hunter who's struggling, and then taking on this, this bear that's larger than life. So that's kind of how it progresses. It progresses pretty well. They track down the bear, and you end up with like a multi-issue conflict. And like I said, the violence and the stuff doesn't hold back. I don't want to spoil that one frame. I mean, the stuff is really, really good. You can see Wilkers there. There's a little bit of twists and turns here and there. Just great shots, great action, tons of detail. The art is fantastic. Look, if you're okay, and I love, and he has to resort to. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. He has to resort to becoming the ninja to win. Like he's trying to not be the family thing of moving away from that because the world has changed, and he's like, no, he has to go back to that in order to get there. So, yeah, little twists and turns at the end about who survives, who doesn't surprise, and how. And of course, the stuff with the bear is just phenomenal. And it takes you to a place that you wouldn't expect. And there's a little bit of like an epilogue that kind of sets up the fact that we're going to have possibly more Ninja Bear. Quote, the Rage of Firebrand. Spoiler alert. So there you go. Hunter Ninja Bear. I think he put the link to the Kickstarter. I don't think we can get it through Kickstarter now. So let me pull up the site real quick for you. Put that link in there for you. Kickstarter is over, but that's a great way to see the preview and get more information on what you would be getting. So I put the link in there for you. And hello, lovely Sherry. Thanks for hopping in. Hey, Gap, how are you? Lovely Sherry's here. Hey there. And Gap, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yeah, so that's for like, it was about $30. It was about $30, and that's a lot of pages for $30. That's a lot. That's not, that's not some 2 or 3 issues, even 6 issues. That's like 12. So that's nice. So if you're into an easy, fun read, it's not superhero with a bunch of capes and armors. It's more like real life. It could easily be adapted into like something real and tangible. Chuck Dixon's a great writer, so the dialogue tends to be very real. It feels like people could actually speak these words. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I hate reading something and I'm like, no one talks like this. Actually, that's one of my biggest complaints with many of these shows is, can we hire a human that can teach people how to actually behave, like socially interact? Because a lot of the stuff that they put in these shows and movies are like, humans don't act that way. They don't behave that way. So I don't know, maybe. So Hunting Ninja Bear, Phenom Comics, I highly recommend for what you get, especially for what you get. If you're into like just superheroes and cape stuff, maybe not so much, but as far as a good read, fun read, easy read, it definitely fit the bill for me. I enjoyed it a lot. And yes, I will try to reach out to Chuck and see if I can get him on the show at some point. I don't even know how I could fanboy my way through Chuck Dixon, because it was such a big deal coming along the way. My other big get was my copy. I have so much of his stuff. So I supported the Wraith of God. So there's the main cover for Aaron Lopresti's Wraith of God. And let me put the links there for you guys. Wraith of God. Let's see. And again, I know I'm putting up things like the Indiegogo only because you get the background of all the details and the photographs and the sample pages, and you get everything in it, so you know what you're getting. But you can go over to Aaron's website, and that will give you some of that information too. Get yourself copies and things like that of his other work and things like that. So that might be the price. Okay, let's see here. That might be the price for 5 or 6 floppy comics, but there are no ads, so you're really getting your money's worth. I couldn't agree more. I gotta be honest. There's technically like the equivalent of 12 comic books. So a normal graphic novel would be half this, right? They'll print graphic novels of about 6 issues. And actually, that was one of the big devastating blows to the industry, in my opinion, because they started stretching out stories to get to 6 issues so they could justify making a graphic novel. And they would resell those for about $20. So the fact that you get 12, top notch from someone like Chuck Dixon. And like I said, I don't know much about Mel Tubey. I briefly looked, and it wasn't stuff that I was really into. It seems like he did a lot of like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here kind of thing. And maybe I'm wrong. I just didn't find the right thing. But this is really... Like I said, I showed some examples, and you can go over to their site and stuff like that and see. And then I couldn't agree more when you start talking about, what Aaron's put together. You talk about, a $25 book that doesn't have ads. It's like 6 issues. Well, this is more like premium stock too. This isn't like paper. So this is a lot nicer. Yeah, this is really, really something special. I'm really, really impressed with this. So Wraith of God, and I'm going to try to figure out how to navigate through this. It does not waste any time of having action. So right out of the gate, you have a group of people around a campfire, and come to find out, it's basically him, and he's attacked by a werewolf. So it is very supernatural and spiritual. He is basically the hand of God of vengeance. He's God's wrath. Yes, it is quite on point. You can see that he did everything. So you have ink, story, pencils, and Gabe El-Taib did the color. Warren Montgomery did the letters, and there are variant covers and things like that. I'll show you in a minute. So basically, the story kind of moves along very quickly. He has sort of a companion that she's going around with him, and you can see the style of art. So he has sort of a very like a ghostwriter personality and sort of a ghostwriter approach to things, with sort of a Jonah Hex sort of Western, gunslinger sort of environment and setting. But a lot of supernatural stuff with a lot of religious overtones, because he's literally like, the vengeance of God. I can see your sin. You're going to pay for sin. And he ends up in this place, and he's figuring out this situation with these werewolves, with these creatures, and it ultimately leads him to this hunt for this amulet. And you end up going to this little town, and he's very clever. There's a couple little twists there that just show you the skills, and it kind of really foreshadows the backstory. Look how good the art is. This is very. I mean, Aaron has like a lot of credentials to his name. He's been on a lot of stuff, so you're not getting some shoddy art with Aaron Lopresti. Lots of action. Him fighting. And then, of course, twists and turns, some flashbacks to give you some more depth and make the story just much more riveting and detailed. I think that was really, really great. And really that's it, because it really is. It's got a large part of the story is all of that, the supernatural and the adventure part, and then you have sort of the real life stuff where it's kind of a spoiler. Well, let's just say there's a lot of stuff that happens with the humans, and that's tied to the story as well. So it's almost like 2 different stories that all sort of kind of come back together and coincide back to make a complete story, a lot more depth. I also kind of thought of a little bit of like the Deadwood sort of feel, like this could be set in that sort of Western type stuff, but the supernatural stuff's why I was here. This is why I wanted it. This battle stuff, old Moon Knight versus Werewolf by Night. Moon Knight versus Werewolf by Night. Yeah, stuff like that. And the twists and turns, and of course, there is a cool ending, but there is also kind of like a little epilogue as well. And in our epilogue, we get a little bit of a tease that there's going to be more, and he's teasing more with this story. It also teases his Garbage Man tours story. So you end up, I know Blood Hunters is the sequel to this. It's due to drop any time now. And then Garbage Man will be coming out soon. Night of the Living Jed. And then the Nightclub, a story called Trunk. Quote, the Lopresti-verse. So really, really fast. It's a little bit smaller. It doesn't have as many pages as like I showed you before. It was like $25 a piece for these. This was the main cover from Aaron. Let's see. This was cover B. Cover B. This was the next one. And I'll post these on probably my eBay store, and I'll probably do some shorts too, because I got like the little roughs. So let's do that. Let's open that up. Give you little details of how that kind of works. I have 2 of these. So, kind of how he puts things together. And if you were interested in making a comic or something like that, this seems to me like this would be crucial. This was exactly what I wanted because I thought to myself, I can make a comic someday. I'm more of a storyteller. I would like more like writing the story rather than trying to draw it, but you would almost kind of like need to figure out some visuals and some structure. So I really love the fact that he sort of like had all this in there as an option. So, and I think whenever I do like a membership stream, we're going to do something. And when we start rolling out memberships, we'll do this. We'll do one of these as a giveaway because I do have 2 of them. So I have 2 of these. And of course, then you have all the little cool perks that you can get. Trading cards, things like that. And then I have his, I know you can get this on the aaronlepresti.com. You can get his hardback book, the 20 years of sketches, and this is one I did. I did a couple of shorts out of here, Saved from the Trash. So these were his sketches. Man, these guys are so talented. Look, this is the stuff that doesn't make it. This is the stuff that doesn't make it. Look at this. Like, what on earth? Them just doodling. Look at this. Look at this Boris Karloff. Frankenstein. Loved it. I posted the Johnny Depp on my shorts. So I'll find something else to post the next day or 2. I think you can get this for like $10 or something. It wasn't very expensive. Again, just informational. Really, really cool. And really enjoy that. So you can go over to aaronlepresti.com. Catch the latest. I will let me put this link there for you on this campaign, and not because it's active. I think it's closed, but it will give you an idea of what this entails. So let's see. Did I catch you? Oh, Josh popped in. How you doing, my friend? Decepticons Cave. How you doing, buddy? Awesome. Thanks so much. Okay, what you got here? I just dropped 135 on 7 different Bad Idea pre-orders. Awesome. Very cool. Well, please make sure you share. Let me think. Have I got those yet? Have I ordered? I don't think I have. I don't know. Bad Idea. Bad Idea comics. Bad Ideas. Okay, order 7 new Bad Idea comics before you know. Okay, here we go. Bad Idea is a new publisher company from Dinesh Shamdasani, Adam Freeman, Joshua Johns, Carl Bowlers, and Anthony Militano. Direct to retailer. Okay. Very cool. So 7 titles. Awesome. That is super cool. Yeah, it's got a little bit of press. I see that. It's out there. There's really not a lot of information. Let me see. Okay, here, let me share. Thanks for sharing, Decepticon. Bad Idea, 7 mind-melding, long box-busting titles of pure comic book brilliance by who, without a doubt, is the greatest writers and artists ever convened. An assemblage of comics so guaranteed to excite and dazzle, you're going to offer them up for a very special blind pre-order. No details. They're going to review. Sorry, they're going to release more information tomorrow, so you can get out. There's all the information here. Put this link in the description for you. Little Bad Idea detail there from via Decepticon Cave. Very cool, man. Keep me posted on that. What you find out. So that's a little bit about where I'm at on my, I would say, comicsgate group of people. The old, I call them the OGs. I'm not into this name calling nonsense because I don't really care about all that stuff. Hey, Jacob Ironside. Hey, man. Yeah, you'll know what the titles are tomorrow. Yeah, very cool. I will probably forget to check that out, but I am going to copy that link into my notes to revisit it That way I don't forget. So that way I can try to look it up, and maybe we'll do a video or talk about that more and find out more information. But congratulations on getting a super good deal on that. I can't pull that trigger right now. That'd be a little bit too much for me. But what do you guys look for when you're trying to find something to get or not get? So for me, I'm actually still like in the dabbling phase. I'm such a, like I mentioned, I enjoyed the Hunter Ninja Bear because it reminded me of like old school Green Arrow and Mike Grell and grounded real life. It's like supernatural stuff. And then of course I love the Wraith of God because it reminded me of like my love of like Ghost Rider. Like I've always talked about how much I love 90s Ghost Rider. I think Mark Teixeira's work is just, I was just hooked every single issue for, oh my gosh, at least 3 years. The first 36 issues for sure. Definitely for the first 25. I mean, I can't even tell you. I think I would pretty much keep all of those in stock when I was doing my little, flea market store, because if nothing else, I could sit there and read them again. I could look at them. I was just like, I want to have them all. So it's like, if I would sell one, I would take that money. You got to pay your bills, but for the most part, I would try to use that to reinvest into it to keep them going. They were definitely a staple. So these two books were really easy for me to pull the trigger on as far as things I knew I would like and enjoy a lot. So I want to show you another book. I'm going to get to the fun unboxing, unsealing of the X-Men thing. We're going to do that in a minute. But I'm going to keep this one. I think I'm going to hang on to this one. So New 52 is not very good. I bought a whole collection of them. So this is Batman. So I bought a whole collection of them. Like, I don't know how long ago. Just bought them all. And I've been breaking them up. I've been selling a lot of them on eBay and stuff and finding homes for them. But this is a variant cover. And it has like the Rogues Gallery on it. And I don't know, it wasn't really worth much. It's kind of like an add-on because it's like a variant cover. So it doesn't really, to sell the run, didn't really need to include this book. And I couldn't figure out who the artist was. It didn't come up right away. I think I'm going to keep this one for now. I kind of like this. They're all there. They're kind of just blended in, Poison Ivy's in the back next to Riddler. Mr. Freeze got his back to us though. Scarecrow, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Man-Bat's way in the back. Pretty cool. Very, very cool. I liked it. Yeah. So for now, it's not going anywhere. I think I'm going to hang on to that for a minute. Maybe revisit it. Kind of put it in the not right now box kind of thing. It's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. So, all right. So let me see here. The main guy used to be half the owner of Valiant. Oh, wow. Okay. He's a big time art collector. Dinesh Shamdasani, that guy. Okay. Very cool. Well, the other guy, Valiant, was Jim Shooter, right? I think I got that right. It's great. I'm so happy that we see more comics being done. I think what we've determined that if you can get a couple of thousand people and you can kind of grow from there, you don't have to start by selling, tens of thousands of books. This is what makes the DC Marvel thing so frustrating. It shouldn't be hard to sell legacy characters. Like, it's not hard. And part of it is, let's just set aside all the politics and the message and the agenda for a minute. I think that part of the derailing of the train, especially at DC, and why they constantly did all the crisis and all the resetting and all the rebooting and all that, is they don't have people and they don't want to make money by just giving us what we want of having them have superhero stories. So for instance, my favorite era of Batman involved, literally there was 4 or 5 titles a month, and it was just, they would just rotate through the different villains and the different stories. Like, you would have a couple of issues where he's fighting the Joker. Then you might have a week off where it was more like a street level crime or something like that. Then there'd be a couple of issues with Riddler, a couple of issues with Penguin, so on and so forth. And over the course of like a year to 2 years, you didn't get like 8 Joker stories in a row or anything like that. You would thirst for him to show back up again by the time he came back around. You would have some crossover stories and things like that, but it was this great era, especially from like I said, the late 80s to the early 90s, this great era where it seemed like they got all of the cylinders churning. everything seemed like it was working, right? We were never inundated with too much of anything, and we could just jump in at any time. We could jump out, come back. That's why I said when I reflect on like Flash season 1 was really the closest thing to a comic book adaptation that I've seen, because it felt like the week to week, different villain of the week, different story. Sometimes it'd be 2 episodes. I felt like I was actually in comic book universe. Now, I don't care for Team Flash and some of the changes they made, but as far as the nature of the structure is what I'm trying to get at. I don't think creators want to even be limited in that way. They want to do whatever they want to do. And they've gotten these editors to go along with these ideas and things like that. They do these crazy things. They're always just trying to rewrite history. They're always just trying to change things. And I don't understand. That's not going to work. It's just not. So, all right. So we talked about Hunter Ninja Bear. We talked about Wraith of God, which I also recommend if you were into that. I enjoyed it a lot more than I kind of thought I would. I thought it would be more just generic supernatural stuff, but I love the fact that there was almost like a religious motivation behind the character without it. Like it didn't take over the story and be distracted by that. So I thought it was pretty good. Added some depth without it being like, the only reason to read it. So I guess that takes us to Ollie's. Now, this is literally in my Nexus years, like the 90s. I remember when this came out. I remember being in New England Comics. It was on the west side of Tampa. And it was really one of the cooler shops to go to, even though it was more expensive, because their displays and stuff are similar to what we have now, where it was more spread out. And you would look at the shelf, and all 5 of the covers were there. They were all sitting there. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And you could see the puzzle. You could see number 5, the E cover, which folded out. You could see the other 4 fit together. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. Jim Lee and Chris Claremont on the same book. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's for $5. But then I flipped it over, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it's the Wolverine cover. It's not like it's a crappy one, as though there is a crappy one. So let's see. What else did we get? I don't have scissors in here, so I'm trying to figure out how to get into this thing without... This plan wasn't really well thought through, Chris Persia. Wasn't in the budget. Uh-oh. Can't get in. There it goes. Okay. Whew. I don't want to mess up the book. Yeah. I know. It's taking a while. I know. All right. Let's see. Got it out of here. Pull around there like that. Okay. So they're out. All right. So I'm going to not look and flip it back the way it was. So I only know about the 2 that are there because I didn't look. I don't want to look. All right. So this was number 2. This is what I saw first. The Magneto cover. It doesn't feel right here. I don't know. I don't think it was wet. Oh, it might have been. It might have been wet. Oh, yeah, it was wet. It's a water stain. I knew they were repackaged. So, all right. So here's how you can tell. See that? Yeah, it was wet. So this is a fun little reader copy right here. Not worth anything. You can't save it. But you want to see some cool X-Men art? Look at Jim Lee. Look at that. You know what I see when I see this? All I do is I hear that theme song in my head. Do 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 do. Look at Rogue. Oh, so good. All right, so it's not a high quality. We can definitely do a full breakdown of X-Men. Oh, these are always fun. Look. We're going to have flashback night. I have to get Loki. I'm going to be on Loki tonight. Hopefully, everything goes through. Yes. They do these things back then. We had ads, like real ads, like go buy your comic books. Did anyone else order comic books like this? Because I did. I always had great luck doing it too, by the way. I never had any problems doing this. Like I could find, it basically was my way of finding stores all over the place. Look at that. New Mutants. X-Men 281. What's the most expensive thing in here? Dun, 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 dun. Those are graphic novels. Huh. I'm trying to think of what's the most expensive thing in here, but I don't really see much that's over $10. There's one. X-Men set. First limit 2. All 5 issues of X-Men #1, including the limited. So it's all 5 covers for $10. A box of 48 X-Men cards. The hot new 90 card series is $30. So that's like a box, a sealed box. Okay. $30, man. Whew. There you go. So the goal is to get another camera, right? So I'm going to be shopping around for a camera. I actually meant to go this week. I got caught up with stuff at work and streaming on Tuesday. So I wasn't able to go. So I might be able to go tomorrow and go about picking up a webcam. So I have a second cam, more like a table cam, and we'll tear that book open. All right. So then I got X-Men #1, right? Oh my gosh. I'm going to turn this book over. I saw what it was. All right. So X-Men #1, the cool Cyclops Wolverine cover. Dun, dun, dun. Pretty good. Does it feel? Oh, yep. It's in the bottom corner over here. Can feel it. Feeling it is more important than just looking, by the way. If you run your hand on, you can tell when something's been wet. So this is basically they repackaged a bunch of damaged comic books. Is probably what happened. I don't see the watermark on the inside of this one. It might be on the back. It's really not in bad condition otherwise, though. No, I don't see any marks. It does feel like it, though. It doesn't feel right here. Something's wrong with it. It definitely is rolled. That's for sure. So if you can, you see how it's like indented right there? It's got a roll. If you have a good cleaner press person, they can probably save most books. This one's really got the staples deep though. So it may have just been squashed in between something else. So, but yeah, the X-Men #1. Look at that. Look at Wolvie. Yes, such good stuff. Chris Claremont. His writing's good. I will say I was critical. I'm critical as I've reread it. Oh, you have one too. Look. We got another one. East Coast Comics. Order some books. All right, we'll have time. We'll come back to that. All right, what's next? I'm the only one nerding out. I know there's a few of you in chat. I'm such a nerd. X-Men Classic 99. X-Men Classic 99. X-Men Classics are not really worth anything. Oh my gosh. Talk about fine print. Originally presented in Uncanny X-Men 195. Okay, perfect. So X-Men Classics are reprints of the classic Uncanny X-Men that cost a fortune. So this is a great way to read the expensive ones. So we can do that. So X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 195 is reprinted. And again, this is like Chris Claremont. What kind of cool ads do we have in here, though? Oh, we got another one. Here's another hot picks. Oh, yeah. Look at that. ETMs. I don't know who ETM is. Generation X is being promoted. There's like a top 10 list. There's image list. See, this is like content galore. And look, Cookie Crisp had an X-Men card. Wonder how much those sell for. Woo, put a pin in that. Someone remind me about looking up Cookie Crisp X-Men cards. Because I know there's got to be a link to that out there. I should go check that out and see if I can find them on eBay. Because you know it's going to be fun to find them. I'm going to pull up my X-Men and Cookie Crisp. It'd be a cool card to have, though, especially if you're an X-Men collector. It reminds me of something I have over there I can show you guys. Oh, free comic book day. Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day. This looks pretty new. The art looks good. So that's the art. Here we go. I like there's a lot of different characters, but this is like new comic book. So let's see. Yeah, new paper. for sure. No. I will say I enjoy like the retrospective looks. That's kind of cool to look at. Yeah, I don't know what this is. It's free comic book day, so it's not like it's, expensive or, worth anything really. So we'll spend some time looking at that. There's a little Blade story in the back. Okay. Yeah, we can read this, spend some time looking at this, figuring this out. I have no idea what's happening in this story. So yeah, definitely new because there's a Carol Danvers. Notice that she's not like stereotypical like Twitter lesbian though. She's just there. So we'll check that out. So yeah, very cool. That was in there. Holy crap. I saw this too. When I flipped it over, I recognized the color. Hey Loki, how you doing, my friend? I just busted up this Ollie's bag. So before I show you what the fifth one is, it's like five comics for like $5 or $6, whatever it was. So this is the book I saw. I got an X-Men #2, watermark, water stain, so it's not worth anything, but it'll be fun to read. An X-Men #1, right? The Wolverine Cyclops color also has some sort of issue in this corner, but also fun to read. We just looked at Free Comic Book Day, Judgment Day, and we had Uncanny Classic 99, which retells a classic Uncanny Claremont issue. We can do that. Can you believe this, guys? Look at this. There's an X-Men #1 again. There's the other cover. I cannot believe this is for $5. I got 3 of these books in there. This is crazy. Hey, Pat S. How you doing, my friend? Thanks for making it live. Awesome. I agree with you. Thank you. Finally. Oh, it's so good. This one feels really clean. This one doesn't feel like it has an issue. I don't think this one goes to the Wolvie. No, they don't connect. That's not the right order for them. No, this connects to Wolf. This connects to Magneto. Wolverine connects to Magneto. This one's on the other side. So, but yeah, 2 #1s and a #2 in the same Ollie's bag. Look at this. Look at that, Jim Lee. Oh gosh, God is so good. So much fun. So much fun. Oh, so let's have some more fun. Let's go back just a few minutes. Let's go back to that ad. Let's do this ad. This book's, again, I covered it briefly, guys. It has a watermark stain. You can feel, again, if you have a comic and you don't really know where you're at on it, you can feel and you can find these things. And obviously when you open it up, you can see the watermark. It's very, very, I lost it in the light. Anyway, it's very prominent right there on that page. But here in the back, here we go. Hot comics. Order your comics. You could do your subscriptions. This was your holiday. This is how you could order and get them mailed to your house. Savings coupons right there. Send them to your house. Let's see. Bullpen, all the writing articles. Oh, I see. Okay, here we go. So here's the order form to order your comics. T-shirts, hot comics. Hot comics. Hot comics. Spider-Man #1, the green cover, $5. Yeah, first print, limited 2 on 6 through 17. So yeah, they're in here. Let's see. It's mostly modern comics that are listed. That's why they're all so cheap. So it wasn't like a sale you could buy. This was not an ad for like back issues, really. It's a lot of modern stuff. This was through American Comics and Entertainment in Gainesville, Virginia. I wonder if they're still in business. Call 1-900-288-X-Men and battle the X-Men's deadliest enemies. Look at this. How to play. Call 1-900-288-X-Men. You'll start battling Magneto's henchmen. Summon the appropriate X-Men based on their powers and confrontation at hand. 3, wait for the cue. Then activate their powers by pressing the star key within the designated time. Then go 1-on-1 with Magneto and earn your rewards by answering as many X-Men trivia questions as you can. That's fantastic. I do not remember doing that. But that was the thing. Any of you guys do something like that? I don't remember that. Pat S says, Clobbering Times turn me on to Ollie's. Okay, listen, it is a lot of modern stuff. But yeah, you can find good stuff. And yes, I have a late 80s black and white TMT there. And these little bags, this was like, it's $5.99. It's a cover price. You're paying like the 90s price to get these books. Now, is it beat up? Has it got issues? Yes. Do you care if you're going to read them and tear them in and have some fun with it? No. Maybe you'll get one book. I think the one number one, I'll have to look at a little closer. It actually might be a nice copy. Right, might be a nice copy, and they are clean on the side, so that's not the issue. So, what else is in here? It opens up with a are you video game folks? Look, Sega Genesis Sonic ad, 1991. Yep, what we got here? Let's see. Back when ads were so good, it looks like. If looks could kill, these Marvel tees would be illegal. A Dark Hawk shirt. Look at that. Let's see. Go this way. Like Dark Hawk. Anybody into Dark Hawk? That Venom and Spider-Man shirt it is pretty cool. Yeah, that's fun. What's in the let's do this one. This is the classic one. It's basically a reprint issue. These again, by the way, if you look them up, these are the great way to read and manhandle Uncanny X-Men because they're cheap. They're reprints. Where are the ads? Oh, it's a football. Joe Montana ad. Captain Crunch. Love me. I still eat Captain Crunch. Which, by the way, you can also get at Ollie's. Chris Claremont loved him some Kitty Pryde. You will always find some Wolvie and Kitty Pryde in his runs. There's not much in this. These are more like just regular food ads and stuff. We don't have there's the comic book order. Here we go. Dun dun. Comic book order. Top 10 picks. Number 10. Wildcats Adventure number 1. Number 9, Punisher and Batman number 1, 48 pages. Punisher and Batman versus Jigsaw and the Joker, $4.95. Marvel Universe Series 1. Wow, sealed box for $50. Holy cow. Those are hundreds of dollars now. Series 1s are beautiful. Marvel Deluxe hardcover. That is a deluxe 216-page hardcover. Marvel Action Image Mystery Set, which is 6 titles, just one of each one at the time. So you're looking at Cyberforce 8, Shadowhawk 0, Spawn 25, Savage Dragon, Wildcats, cool. The Generation X set, and Gen 13 0, and Fantastic Four 1, the new Heroes one. So let's see what else we have in here. The bestsellers. Bestseller. I assume these are graphic novels because it says Death in the Family for $5. That has to be the graphic novel. So yeah, very cool. Oh, the Death in the Family trade is $5. You can imagine the 1990s prices right there for you guys. So yeah, this is the way you get comic books. If you didn't have a shop or you were looking for something you couldn't get at your shop, that was a common thing for me. And I have to be honest, it was a good way for me to order stuff that I didn't have, I couldn't get. Once your stores and your vendors and stuff sold out of certain things, I'd go online and find those stores. So, hey, Grifter, how you doing, my friend? Keely Chow, how you doing, my friend? Getting excited for football season? My kid is, that's for sure. Roll Tides, yeah, rolling the tide. Out of 47 titles, the 90s X-Men, what was your favorite? Holy cow. Well, the main one, I wasn't as big into X-Men, but it was good for business. I was right in line with the 90s picking up, right? So from 90, when it dropped in 91, basically forever, for years, I would get that. And of course it crossed, once you had Uncanny, I was in that running forward, and then I would work back issues the best I could. And let's see. So the crossover stuff is what would get issues. So remember the hologram ones, where there was like a hologram looking card on the cover of them. It's the one where Magneto uses his powers to pull the adamantium out of Wolverine. Those, I had all of those, went after all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of stories and would drive me down the rabbit holes. But like I said, I had that flea market comic booth, so I would always look for X-Men, because you could always sell X-Men. Every normie, any kid, and this went on for years. Well, after I had to close the thing and I would just do stuff online, I could go to a show and buy a whole long box, just take it all. And even if I only sold it for a couple dollars, I mean, you're making money if you're buying in bulk like that, because X-Men would sell. And if nothing else, once the cartoon blew up in '97, this stuff, I mean, you couldn't keep it. It would just keep moving through. X-Men was always great. I've grown to love it more and more. I don't really have favorites. I just enjoy it. So, hail to Zax. Kitty was your first comic crush. Oh, that's awesome, man. I have to be honest, man. The 1995 Fleer Ultra trading cards. There's this Boris. There's Boris cards, and there's also these. It's an Ivan Ramos. Ramos, I think is his last name. That Storm card. Some of these other cards. Woo wee. Feeling a little of a glimpse. So yeah. So that was good stuff. Which one was? I think the Beast one was the good one. So let's play this. This is the one that's got the roll. It's got the roll on the side, even though it's got Wolverine on it. So let's see what the ads were in here. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to show you. I'm going to forget again. So I set this aside. I found that I have these. I have no idea how they got separated. So anybody remember when X-Men stuff was at Pizza Hut, of all places? Pizza Hut had these little mini comics, and they sold VHSs. And it was like a VHS tape of the cartoon, and you had one with each VHS tape. And I sold all of that. Yet for some reason, I had found these. These are these little mini comics. Talk about perfect condition. Well, that's like a poster inside or something. Anyway, that is super cool. Yeah, see, it's like a little, trying to hold it. It's like a little harder for me to hand. See, a little mini comic. There's like some mini poster in there or something. Anyway, so yeah, I have not even looked these up. I don't know how much they're worth. They're in a bag, and I was like, oh, there they are. So yeah, these came from Pizza Hut. You can see right there. And they were in like a little package with the VHS. So maybe we should look them up. And we're going to look up the Cookie Crisp cards. Okay. Cookie Crisp, damage, Cookie Print ad posters, vintage ads. I think this is the one. Let's share it and see what you guys think. I think this is it, because we were looking at the ad, and the ad was for Cookie Crisp, and it said, get your X-Men card. So see if this is what I think this is the right one. I shared the wrong one, didn't I? Sorry. You don't expect me to be able to do this right, do you, people? Don't know why you put up with me. This is the one. Mm-hmm. These are the Cookie Crisp cards. Let's see if they show the backs. Yep. There they are. Impel. Interesting. They're not in great condition. See the little discolorization there on them a little bit? But I bet if you found one in good shape, they'd be worth a lot of money. The art's just okay. Let's see. Oh, there's a whole bunch of different cards in here, though. So what is this? Okay, this is from... Okay, so this guy has a listing for all sorts of, like, promotional type cards and stuff. Okay, I see what he's doing now. So the cable card we were looking at, this is from Crunch and Munch. Huh. That's actually in really good condition. That one actually looks pretty clean. Let's see here. Ghost Rider trading. It cuts off. What's it say right there? National Safe Kids campaign. Got a lot of white on the edge, so it's not really in good condition, but it's cool art. That is a Jim Lee Ghost Rider picture. Ooh. Huh. That's Jim Lee. Scott Williams. Doing their thing together. Let's see. All the really good ones are gone. Looks like here's one. This is a wizard card, right? No, danger room, emotional. Yeah, it's one of those wizard throw-in cards. Interesting. What do you guys in chat think? Okay, let's see. I was totally ripped off. Pizza Hut Australia didn't have anything that cool. Well, Chris Bergia, just saying, you could email me your address and maybe they'd show up in your house. If we had your address, Chris, maybe they would show up. Maybe. I'm not going to do anything with them yet. I'm just going to say they'll be here just in case. Just in case you had a wild hair and you told me where to send them to. Maybe you have a sister you want me to send them to. I don't know. Pat S. Oh, yeah. I laugh out loud. I live 300 feet from Pizza Hut. $5 buffet. Great video games and even better jukebox. I love the tabletop Pac-Man game. And they had Centipede and all, where you could just sit and you sit right there. I love those. I love those so much. They're so much fun. And yeah, buffets. I got so many Pizza Hut free personal pan pizza from TMT games, gear, movies, comics. They hated me at our local Pizza Hut. Laugh out loud. That's awesome, man. Listen, man. Gosh, I can just taste it. I can just taste Pizza Hut. I can't tell you last time I had Pizza Hut. So, let's see. Did Hungry Jacks have the Star Wars glasses down there? That's an old school reference. I have a set of the new Star Wars glasses my daughter-in-law got me for Christmas one year. So, yeah, the way you read, you could do the summer reading program. Yeah, me too, man. I'm with you. Yeah, Pat, we did that. Yeah. Let's see. Do you mean the original? I wouldn't know. I was in Canada for that. I did have all of the Burger King glasses. Yes. Yeah. They are really cool. They are super cool. Let's go back over to what we're going to look up. Oh, those Pizza Hut boxes. Let's look up the Pizza Hut cards. Let me stop sharing. Okay. It's perfect. It's off. Okay. So Pizza Hut X-Men. I got X-Men song stuck in my head. Here's the mini collector comics. That's like $20 for all three. There's some different ones though. There's a full set for $35. That seems like a lot compared to the other percent. Let's look at those though. Isn't it funny how many things there are just sort of out there in the wild? There are just so many things that you could be into and that you could like. Is it me or do none of those look like the ones that I showed you? Sorry, go back. I don't have either. I have a completely different set of Pizza Hut comics. Yeah, these are completely different. Look, see how they have like the... you guys are seeing this okay? Not really. It's too small, isn't it? See if I can make it bigger. Yeah, see how on theirs, there's the Pizza Hut logos in the bottom. Yeah, this is a different series, so to speak. There's a year on them, maybe. Let's see what it says. Nope, no, nothing there. All 4 issues, good condition. Now, no information there. Let me go back to my camera. Yeah, look. See, mine are completely different. Like it's up here in the top. So I don't know if it's like different year, different series, like a series 1, series 2 kind of thing. I don't know. Volume 1, number 2, December, looks like 93. And this is, let me see what this says. Yeah, this is volume 1, number 1. So it's volume 1, number 1 and 2. That was not what was on that list, or at least on that one auction. I have no idea what I have, guys. I have no idea. It was mixed in with other stuff. That's all I know. Yeah, I'm scrolling through and I am not seeing the ones that I showed you guys. Oh, there's one. It's like $5. Yeah, so they're not worth a ton of money. They're just kind of cool. That guy's got, he's like $10. Yeah, so it's one of those things that's probably not even priced. Like no one knows what to charge. Like it's just one of those, it's just odd. And obviously it's going to be one of those things that you probably have a hard time finding in good condition because it's not going to be the kind of collectible that would have been like a mainstream collection or anything like that. So you're at the mercy of the person that had them before you. So let's see. You guys are chit-chatting about knowing about Hungry Jacks. Yeah, good point. Good call. So man, yeah. That was pretty good for $5, wasn't it, guys? $5. Look at that. 2 X-Men ones, an X-Men 2, a couple other books. So yeah, I'm gonna try to go tomorrow. See about that webcam. Get a little table view going on over here, so we can just do those comic books and do some walkthroughs, flip some pages together. That'll be good. So yeah, but Chris was in Canada, was in Australia and Canada, so it's a little hard to know for sure what he was exposed to. I think it's fascinating though, because for us in the States, we don't even think about it in too many broad terms sometimes. So, because the last thing I have is something I realized that I've had for a while. It didn't open it up. So I have this. So this is my other, look, I'm into like whatever. So I had to start opening it so I could make sure I could actually open it on air with you, because I tried to do this one time. Oh, it's going to be loud too. I did one of these on air one time, and I couldn't get in the box. It was taped up. I spent like 3 minutes trying to get in the box. This is Infinitale, the Warrior of the Trees. It's also an Indiegogo campaign. I've had it for a minute. It's a little bit more of like fantasy and stuff, like elves. So we'll see. It's got a interesting... Nothing like some free bubble wrap to make the world go round. Cool little box. It's nice and bubble wrapped up. Let's see how we can get into this. You guys heard about this campaign or anything? I don't know how I found it. Must have got into it a while ago and had this for a minute. Just forgot about it. Just didn't open it up. I had a lot of stuff over there I have to get to. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah. Infinitale Chronicles. And then there's, it's like a personalized thing. Check that out. Hold on. Let me open that up. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Let's just take all this out. I think it's a sticker left inside. Little sticker. Here's the comic. Not real long. I can probably get to this in a couple of days, but you can see it's a different sort of feel than the other stuff. This is more, fantasy stuff, Dragonlance, Elf Quest sort of stuff. Try to show you some more samples of the art. Different than the other stuff. I do enjoy that. That's what I want. I want different things. I want to try different things. Here we go. We got a dragon. This was done by Chris Fisk, Antonio Brandao. Not familiar, but don't think it was very much. I think it was like $20 maybe. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of cool. It's supposed to be like part one of a bigger story. And they sent me this. It's like a little thank you. The book 2 is coming, I guess. So it says thank you. They write your name on it for supporting our independent book. This book series is a culmination of decades of research, writing, and testing. In other words, my life's work. I'm incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to present these stories to the world, also for the interested enough in following their production to graphic novellas. Thank you again for being here with me on this truly epic journey. If you read these stories, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Chris Fisk. It's got a little thing, a little personalized thing. That's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. Doesn't that feel better than being ridiculed by the creators? people just saying thanks. So it's like a print. So a little print. Art is by Michelle Hoffner. This is another print. Gonzalo, the Genzo Man, Ordonez. I am butchering their names, I'm certain, but yeah. And, they put a board in there. So, see, and yet something also different. So I don't have to give these mainstream crazy people money whenever I can just find different things, right? I found Chuck Dixon. I found, Aaron Lopresti. Find this. I find stuff at Ollie's. All these different things. I've got tons of stuff to get to that I can't even keep up with. And didn't even crack the service. Now, I only have a few more minutes. I want to close out because I have to bid farewell to something that sold that's being shipped away. Legends of the Dark Knight. If you guys remember Legends of the Dark Knight, I loved it because it was an anthology series. This is how I learned about so many creators. You know what I mean? I didn't necessarily pay attention a lot to artists and creators at times, but then once Legends of the Dark Knights, they would rotate. So you had the first 5 issues was the Shaman story. Then I got introduced to Grant Morrison, so on and so forth. So I had all of Legends of the Dark Knight to this day and have just now parted with them. So this is issues 127 to 136. They're going to be headed out. This is part 1 of 5. This is an O'Neill, a Sergio Cariella story, The Arrow and the Bat. So it's a Green Arrow and Batman crossover story. So super cool. Headed on its way to a new home. Love the covers. This was the second one in the series. Arrow and the Bat. This was one of my favorite colors because I love the Robin Hood look of it all. Loved it. Just loved it. Then we get different covers. Wouldn't it be fun if I showed these and then I sent them to someone, that person happened to be a YouTuber, and then they showed them on their channel? Wouldn't that be the freaking worlds collide moment? That'd be so cool. Yep. So that takes us to issue. Where's 130? Oh, this was 130. Okay. So then 131, because 131 starts. This is 131. So this is the final part of that story, Arrow and the Bat. I think it's art. And 132 starts Siege. It's a different story. You can see everything changes. Look how the art is completely different. The creative team. This is Archie Goodwin story. The OG Archie. Yep. And this is typical Batman stuff, man. You do a little story. You switch it up. Go to street crime. Deal with Gotham police. This is what comic books are supposed to be about. Like, have some fun. Change it up. Tell some stories. Enjoy some cool art. Don't go broke having to do it. So, yeah, 10 issues on their way. On their way to new home. They will go in the mail tomorrow. So I fit them in to show to you guys. So, all right, I'm going to wrap up. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm going to head over to Loki's and we're going to do some more comic book roundtable. I don't know what we're going to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about? Anything else you guys want to see me chat about? Anything you get into? Questions, comments? Do I have any notes on anything else? I always have notes, but I don't have anything that's pressing. I will say that I'm anxious to see how crowdfunding and Rippaverse and stuff like that looks like 5 years from now, like 10 years from now. Will the companies find their way? Will they license out stuff? Things like that. So, yeah. Anyway, so it was a good time. Good to catch up. I'll make clips out of all this if you missed anything or you can't remember exactly, 100 Ninja Bear and Wraith of God, Aaron Lopresti, and then, of course, I did the Infinitales Chronicles, things like that. I do those clips. I try to get all the links right. I try to set it up right. That's why I do the clips, because I want to try to like compartmentalize it to something that can have legs for, you know, evergreen type approach for anyone that could want to find it later on. So that's my approach. It's kind of how I approach it. Trying to do a comic book thing. I got to at least do a couple times a month to do into this. So by the time I get around to it again, I'll be able to do more of the Infinitale Chronicles. Try to get a review up for that. Reach out to those folks. Maybe we start having these folks on too. Like I said, I'll reach out to Chuck. Get Chuck Dixon on here, one of the goats. I did check on Isom, by the way. I don't know if you guys have checked in, if you're already participating or not. We're at 3. He is at, so I get a cut, 3.5 million. So it's 3,549,226. I think what stalled for him, in my opinion, is that all of the A's and B's are gone. Like they didn't do a back order on them, and a lot of people will order whole sets or anything. I'm not going to try how to run his business, and maybe that was part of the appeal. Even if you had to do a second print denotation, I think you would have probably been okay. People would have still bought them, even if you had a different approach or something like that. But yeah. So there's still a lot of stuff there to get. And get posters, combos, T-shirts. There's still a lot of stuff out there. So still cruising along. Hail to the Rippaverse. Hail to Eric July. Representing, bringing a lot of attention to comic books and crowdfunding, independent comics, things like that. And that's also a good thing. Such a good thing. So, well, with that, folks, I'm going to head out, take a little breather, and check in on some other stuff. Might film a movie review before I check in with Loki. Get that off my to-do list. Got some terrible movies I review. So, what can I tell you? Can't all be good. But guys, go out there tomorrow. Make it better than today. Be blessed. Thinking about you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, hanging out with me. And as always, remember, you got to talk hard.
Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't want to cause a problem.